I am Aligar Lingappa, Assistant Professor in Physics. Today's my branch is Atomic and Molecular Physics. So, Vector Atom Model. In that, my topic is a fine structure of spectral lines and then a Stern-Gerlach experiment. Atomic and Molecular Physics, Program BSc, say Subject Physics, a semester of 5th semester, University Vijayanagara Sri Krishna Devaraya University Ballari, session 20. So, learning objective. A spatial quantization, orbital motion of electron, a spinning motion of electron, the multiple structure of spectral lines in the simplest hydrogen atom, angular momentum. Session outcomes, a spatial quantization, orientation of orbits, spin angular momentum, azimuthal quantum number, the intensities of lines, complex spectra of alkali metals like sodium. Prerequisites, that means for the study of a fine structure of spectral lines, we must require certain things. Say concept of the magnetic field, a spin angular momentum, a fine structure of hydrogen atom, a spin angular momentum, orbital angular momentum, a uniform and non-uniform magnetic field. Then now we have discussed about fine structure of spectral lines. When the H-alpha line of the Balmer series was observed through a higher resolution microscope, it is found to consist of several closely packed spectral lines. This is called as a fine structure of spectral lines. Sommerfeld's model gave the theoretical justification of the splitting but could not predict the exact number of components. So what about, we know that hydrogen spectrum, in case of Balmer series, we know that H-alpha line, which is due to the transition of electron from third orbit to second orbit. Similarly, H-beta from fourth orbit to second orbit, H-gamma from fifth orbit to second orbit, H-delta from sixth orbit to second orbit. So H-alpha, H-beta, H-gamma, H-delta lines, they are formed in the Balmer series. But according to Bohr's atomic model, H-alpha line is a single in state. When it observed with a high resolution microscope, then which consists of the group of lines, so called fine structure of spectral lines. A quantum mechanical expression for the relatively correction was deduced by Heisenberg and Jordan, according to which the split energy is given by delta ER is equal to minus of m z square e to the power of 4 by 32 pi square epsilon square n square h cross square z square alpha square by n square into n by l plus of minus 3 by 4, where alpha is known as a fine structure constant, m mass of an electron, e charge of an electron, So that gives atomic number, H Planck's constant, E epsilon naught permittivity of free space. So in addition to this, another correction term was found to be necessary taking into account of the spin orbit interaction. So that is delta ER is equal to m z square e to the power of 4 by 32 pi square epsilon square n square h cross square z square alpha square by n square into j of j plus 1 minus j of L of L plus 1 minus S of S plus 1 divided by 2 L plus 1 by 2 into L plus 1. For hydrogen or hydrogen-like atoms, there is only one electron for which S is equal to half. Hence J is equal to 1 by 2, J is equal to EL plus 1 by 2 or J is equal to EL minus 1 by 2. Then delta E is equal to delta ER plus delta LS, which is equal to m z square e to the power of 4 by 32 pi square E epsilon naught square n square h cross square z square alpha square by n square n by j plus of minus 3 by 4. From the above equation, it is clear that the correction term depends on j. It is same for two consecutive L values for which j is the same. Thus, 2s of and 2p of terms for the same n have the same energy. Similarly, 2 p3 by 2 and 2d3 by 2 terms have the same energy. Hence, the following figure shows the structure that is splitting up of H alpha line. So just you see the diagram. So H alpha line, according to the left side of the diagram, that indicates according to Bohr's atomic model, which consists of single in state due to the transition of electron from third orbit to second orbit. When it comes to the right side of the diagram, so that indicates there are 5 lines, but experimentally only 3 lines which are observed. So based on a selection rule, we can able to explain the fine structure of H alpha line. Actually, there should be 5 components, what we see in the diagram, but there are 3 only. This discrepancy was explained by applying the selection rules. That is delta L, which is equal to plus or minus 1, and delta J is equal to 0 or plus or minus 1. Hence, 3 components which are observed experimentally show the fine structure of H alpha line. The orbital and spin motions of the electron in atoms possess magnetic moments. Evidence for the existence of magnetic moments of atoms and space quantization is provided by the experiments of Stern and Gerlach. In this experiment, the deflection of a beam of atomic rays in a non-homogeneous magnetic field is studied. So, the magnetic moments and the space quantization, both they can be studied in a Stern-Gerlach experiment. Then what about the principle of the experiment? Then the theory of the experiment? Then what about the construction of the experiment? Then working of the experiment. So look at, according to the vector atom model, every atom is to be regarded as an elementary magnet. The magnetic moment arises from the orbital and spin motion of the electron. If such an atomic magnet is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, in a uniform magnetic field B, the dipole experiences a torque that tends to align the dipole parallel to the field. If the dipole moves in such a field in a direction normal to the field, it will trace a straight line path without any deviation. So look here, by the basic concept we know that a magnetic effect of an electric current. So electric current is the flow of electrons. Similarly, what about the electrons which are present in an atom? So they possess both orbital motion and spin motion. Because of the spin motion and orbital motion of the electron, so where the atom which behaves as a atomic magnet. So this atomic magnet, if it is placed in the maybe uniform magnetic field or non-uniform magnetic field, in both the cases which experiences the force, that means in case of uniform magnetic field, there is no splitting, there is no deviation of the atomic magnet. But in case of non-uniform magnet, so which splits up into two parts. So what we studied in the Stern-Gerlach experiment. In an inhomogeneous magnetic field, the dipole experiences a translatory force in addition to torque. So that means in case of uniform magnetic field, where the atomic magnet which experiences only a torque, but in a non-uniform magnetic field, in homogeneous magnetic field, the atomic magnet which experiences both a translatory force and a torque. If the atomic magnet moves across such an inhomogeneous magnetic field normal to the field direction, the dipole will be deviated away from its rectilinear path. So look here, each magnet which behaves as the dipole, when it is placed in the magnetic field, so then which experiences the force because of translatory force and torque, so dipole which deviates from its rectilinear path, that means the straight path. So what we see in the diagram, so when we are deviating a beam, so that means where the atom which deviates. Let the magnetic field vary along the x direction, so that the gradient is dB by dx, where dB by dx, that means a change in magnetic field with respect to length, so called magnetic gradient, and positive. CD is the atomic magnet of Poleston, P, length L, and dipole moment M with its axis inclined at an angle theta to the field direction. If the field strength at the point C is B, then the field strength at the other pole D will be B plus dB by dx L cos theta. So hence the force on the two poles are Pb and P into P plus dB by dx into L cos theta. Torque experienced by the atomic magnet tau is equal to PLB, which is equal to BSB. Then translatory force acting on the atomic magnet Fx is equal to dB by dx PL cos theta. So as shown in the above diagram, so called the atomic magnet which experiences the force. Then the force experienced by the atomic magnet Fx is equal to dB by dx into mu s cos theta. Let this is equation number 1. Let be velocity of atomic magnet of posium, L length of the path of the atom in the field, T time of the travel of the atom through the field. Then T is equal to L by V. We know that by the basic definition, velocity is equal to displacement by time. Then time is equal to displacement by velocity. Then acceleration is given to atomic magnet by translatory force which is equal to Fx by m. Let this is equation number 2. Let alpha be the displacement of the atom along the field direction. Then alpha is equal to 1 by 2 fx by m into t square, which is equal to half fx L square by 2m v square. Then alpha, which is equal to 1 by 2 dB by dx. So magnetic gradient mu is cos theta by m into L square by v square. Let this is equation number 3. If mu is a resolved component, then mu is equal to mu s cos theta. In the equation 3, where mu s cos theta, which can be replaced by mu, then alpha is equal to 1 by 2 dB by dx into mu by m into L square by v square. Let this is equation number 4. Then a Stern-Gerlach experiment. So just to see the experimental arrangement. The first Stern-Gerlach experiment was in 1922, long before the discovery of electron spin, with which it is now associated. It was an attempt to prove the existence of space quantization. So look here, O1, and then the silver atoms from the O1, they can made to passes through the collimators, beam collimators. Then after passing through the beam collimator, then we will get the fine beam of silver atoms. Then the silver atoms, they can made to passes through the non-uniform magnetic field. That means the space between the two poles, that means shaped magnets create an inhomogeneous magnetic field. One is a sharp-edged face, another one. So there are that means both the poles, they produced non-uniform magnetic fields. When the fine beam of silver atoms made to pass through the non-uniform magnetic field, and then further is made to incident on the photographic plate, then we will get the two paths on the photographic plate. So one of the path that indicates the spin up atoms, another path that indicates the spin down atoms. So just as shown in the diagram. The Stern-Gerlach apparatus consists of an oven that heats a gas of natural silver atoms. The rapidly moving atoms escaping from the oven are collimated, limited in the vertical dimension, and sent between two magnets, one of which has a sharp point that concentrates the magnetic field. If the field are homogeneous, there will be no effect of the atoms' trajectories. The inhomogeneous magnetic fields bends the trajectories proportional to the amount of spin. If the particles spins at a range of classical values, the trajectories would be smeared out vertically because the spins are quantized. Half of the spins are deflected up, the other half deflected down by a discrete amount. So just what we saw in the above diagram. When the field was switched off, a sharp line was traced by the atomic beam on the recording plate as shown in the diagram. So left side of the diagram. Then on applying the magnetic field, a double trace was obtained, one on either side of the original trace as shown in the right side of the diagram. So left side that gives, that means in the homogeneous magnetic field, so or in the absence of the magnetic field. But right diagram that indicates in the presence of the magnetic field. So we will get two traces. So as shown in the diagram. The irregularity of the trace is due to the irregularity of the magnetic field near the knife edge pole piece, and the convergence on the top and bottom is due to fact that the magnetic field decreases transversely, so called, where both the poles they produced inhomogeneous magnetic field or non-uniform magnetic field. The result is that the atomic beam is split into two by the non-uniform magnetic field. This shows that the electron spin may have only two orientations relative to a given direction, either parallel or anti-parallel. Further, the experiment also provides a direct proof of the idea of space quantization. Since J is equal to half, present case there are 2 J plus 1 is equal to 2 possible orientations of J in the magnetic field. Hence, this splits into 2 in the magnetic field. So, what about the Stern-Gerlach experiment, which provide the proof for the space quantization and also the fine structure of spectral lines? Then what are the applications of Stern-Gerlach experiment? Stern-Gerlach experiment used in the measuring of the magnetic fields generated by the particles. So what about the, we know that the electrons, they produce the magnetic field. So the magnetic field are produced by the particles that can be determined with the help of Stern-Gerlach experiment. The experimental results have put the neutrino magnetic moment at less than 1.2 to 10 × 10 times the electron's magnetic moment. It is used to study the properties of the atom. So because of the experimental results, so based on that, we can able to study the properties of different atoms. So now we have discussed about multiple choice questions. So first one, a Stern-Gerlach experiment gave a proof for a photoelectric effect, space quantization, scattering of light, Compton effect. So a Stern-Gerlach experiment which gave a proof for a space quantization. The electron in an atom possessed orbital motion, a spin motion, both A and B, and none of this. So whatever the electrons which are present in an atom, that means they are possessed of both orbital motion as well as a spin motion, so called as C is the correct answer. In a Stern-Gerlach experiment used gold atoms, copper atoms, silver atoms, none of these. So in Stern-Gerlach experiment used silver atoms. In a Stern-Gerlach experiment used magnetic field, electric field, both A and B, none of these. So magnetic field is used in the Stern-Gerlach experiment to deviate the atoms or magnetic atoms. The total value of the magnetic quantum number are 2n, 2n plus 1, 2l plus 1. So 2l plus 1 is the correct answer that gives the total value of magnetic quantum number. So then references for the study of Stern-Gerlach experiments. So Modern Physics by B.V.N. Rao, Modern Physics Volume 2 by Basuraj Homkar Publications, Concept of Modern Physics by S.L. Gupta and S. Gupta, Modern Physics by Murugesan, College Physics Volume 3 by Sundar Rajan and others. So thank you.